reframing a 21st century man. So this morning when I thought about that, I was on Google and I said to myself, well, what does it mean to be a man in the 21st century? And I had to go back and look, well, what did it mean to be a man in the 18th, 19th, and 20th century? Then I asked myself a very important question. When we say, what does it mean to be a man? Are we saying that based on what society thinks or what your inner self tells you? For me, it's spiritual. I asked myself, what does it mean to be a man in the words of, in the eyes of God? And that was what was important to me. Because the centuries change, but the word that I believe in doesn't change. What you believe in, your values, your morals, your ethics, that may not change for you. So don't let anyone tell you that a 21st century man doesn't cook. A 21st century man doesn't clean. A 21st century man doesn't be loyal to his family. Those are all things that society would make you believe a 21st century man doesn't do. 21st century man will make you believe maybe that a woman don't need you. But what a woman may need in the 21st century is not any man, but a real man. A man with a vision, a man with a plan, a man with dedication, a man with direction. When you internally know who you are, where your vision is to lead you, then you start on the path to becoming a real man, not just in the 21st century, but in any century. The Male Leadership Program provides institutional support to ensure success for currently enrolled students, regardless of gender identity, providing a network of resources that delivers outcome of retention, leadership development, and success focused on transfer and graduation at Austin Community College. We offer success planning, community service, leadership events, and much more. Why is it important to join the group? Why is it important to be part of a family? Why is it important to feel like you belong? Sometimes we need help in that direction. It's great to be around like-minded individuals. I've listened to many speakers, and often they've said, if you show me the 5 people that you're closest to, I'll show you your life in the next 5 years. So if you're around negative people with no direction, unfortunately, your life can wind up in a negative place. Surround yourself with members of the MLP. Surround yourself with members of the drama club if you're in a drama. Surround yourself with the dance team if you're in dance. Whoever you decide to surround yourself with, know that you're making a decision to be amongst those people. And at any time, as a man or a woman, you have the right and the ability to change what direction you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Male Leadership Program is important to me because it gave me the opportunity to do exactly what I'm doing. To speak, to host, to inspire, to encourage. I usually say motivate. But I don't like to use the word motivation anymore because motivation is temporary. I want to help people transform their lives as someone helped me transform my life. This conference will only be fruitful if everyone has a seat at the table, shares, and is respectful of different opinions. Can we agree to share and be respectful throughout this conference? As the old saying goes, sharing is caring. Live life to love. Love the life that you live as human beings, because that's what we are. Not white, black, Indian, Asian. We're human beings. So we're here to be with one another, to network, to interact with one another, to accept the person for who they are, and not enforce our stereotypes or our opinions or our judgments on the way that they should live their life. To me, a real friend is a friend that supports me in my bad times as well as my good times. If I have some wild, crazy idea, such as I want to be the greatest motivational speaker in the world, a real support for me, a real friend for me encourages me to do that. They don't tell me what I can't do. Can't isn't a word in my vocabulary. Can't is something that I'm giving myself an excuse not to excel at, or at least attempt. So stop trying to do things and just begin to do things. Because everything that you do, you might not start out great, but as long as you start, you can become great. How many of you heard the phrase or even said, man up? By a show of hands real quick. What does the phrase man up mean to you? And raise your hand and I'll select you.
It means like basic fears and just do it.
Face your fears and do it? Before we get into questions, we'll launch a video. We'll launch a video, and we're going to watch this video. Excuse me 1 second, because I have to get this part out. Forewarning, this clip contains some undesirable language. So if you're offended, we apologize in advance. But this is artistic expression at its best. So this is a poet that you'll see, and he'll give his meaning of the 21st century man. Again, there may be some vulgar language, but it's art at its finest. Thank you.
10 responses to the phrase, man up. 1, fuck you. 2, if you want to question my masculinity, like a schoolyard circle of curses, like a sword fight with lightsaber elections, save your breath. Because contrary to what you may believe, not every problem can be solved by growing a pair. You cannot arm wrestle your way out of chemical depression. The CEO of the company that just laid you off does not care how much you bench. And I promise there is no light beer in the universe full-bodied enough to make you love yourself. 3, man up, oh, that's that new superhero, right? Like mild-mannered supplement salesman Mark Manson, the magic words, man up, and then transforms into the 5 o'clock shadow. The masculine muscle, deep voice, leather duster wearing Superman who defends the world from, I don't know, feelings. 4, of course. Why fight to remove our chains when we can simply compare their lengths? Why step outside the box when the box has these badass flame decals on it? We men are cigarettes, dangerous and poisonous and often stupid. 5. You've noticed how nobody ever says woman up? They imply it. They imply it a lot, but they only imply it because women and the women's movement figured out a long time ago that being directly, explicitly ordered around by commercials, magazines, music, and media is dehumanizing. When will men figure that out? 6. The phrase man up suggests that competence and perseverance, both good things, are also uniquely masculine. That women, not to mention any man who doesn't eat steak and drive a big truck and have lots of sex with women, are nothing. More than anything, though, it suggests that to be yourself, whether you wear skinny jeans or rock a little eyeliner or drink some other brand of light beer or write poetry, will cost you. 7. So, how many boys have to kill themselves before this country acknowledges the problem? How many women have to be assaulted? How many trans people have to be murdered? We teach boys how to wear the skin of a man, but we also teach them how to raise that skin like a flag. We draw blood for it. 8. Boy babies with blue socks. Girl babies get pink socks. Right? What about green? What about yellow? What about cerulean, black, tie-dye, buffalo plaid, rainbow? 9. I want to be free to express myself. Man up. I want to have meaningful emotional relationships with my brothers. Man up. I want to be weak sometimes. Man up. I want to be strong when it isn't about physical power or dominance. Man up. I want to talk to my father about something other than sports. Man up. I want to be who I am. Man up. 10. No.
I guess there we go. You've seen the video. Now at this time, I will take a couple statements or I'll have a question. what do you think about the video, and what does the phrase man up mean to you? And if you give me 1 second, I'll have a microphone come to you. Anyone questions?
I believe man up means in any time of trouble or any tough times, it means to come and overcome. It means to become better than what you are the day before.
Absolutely, I agree with that statement. Anyone else? Up front here, please.
Thank you. Seize the moment.
Elaborate.
Well, to man up means like if you are having a hard time trying to, let's say, trying to accomplish something of the everyday thing and you're hesitant, to man up means to just shut it off, hear bravery / stupidity at the same moment, and just seize the moment. Do what you believe is right.
Thank you, thank you. One last question up front, and then we'll have to get ready to break into small groups where we'll discuss this topic even further and then come back.
I think man up is a concept that can be a positive thing, but as the poet said in the video, it can frequently be a negative thing. Frequently given as a command, maybe even a pejorative one at some points. Man up is an unreasonable expectation that we can hold ourselves to, that the difficulties of the things that we're doing, though it hurts us to punch through them, we should ignore our feelings and just keep going. But that's not a good way to do anything. It's a bad way to do everything.
I agree. He said something that was very important to me, and I was exploring your feelings. I'm a little bit older than most of my fellow students, and I came up in a time where it wasn't cool for a man to cry. You don't show emotions, you don't give out hugs, you don't say, I'm sorry, I am man, hear me roar. And God forbid in the mid-'80s, if you even said the word vegetarian or vegan, it was a problem. For me as a man, I had to face my own triumphs in life. I was married young, I wasn't the best father, I wasn't the best husband, but it was when I really got with God and I asked him who was I called to be and what was I supposed to do as a man, that I changed my life. And as a man, one of the hardest things I had to do was have a talk with my 12-year-old son about the decisions that I made as his father and as a man. Yet, it was a hard conversation to have. It was freeing, it was gratifying, and it showed my son that even though I am your father, I am in touch with my emotional side, and it's okay to express what you feel. How can a man truly be a man and lead and guide his family if he's afraid to be in touch with his emotional side? If he's afraid to let his wife see who he is, the hurts and the pains that bother him? Who do you go talk to? Who do you talk to? So I agree. The word man up, the phrase, it comes with negative connotations, but you as a man or a woman, you have the ability to define what man up means for you. Now we're going to split up into 3 groups, and we'll have 20 minutes to discuss the video you just watched and answer some questions that your mentors have for you. Please pick a scribe for your group so that you can write down your group's responses to the questions. Split into small groups assigned by color, red, yellow, or blue. It may be on your program that you have. And if I can have some assistance from the student life staff to get everyone into groups so they can start their group discussion, and then we will come back. Thank you.